I'm getting a call. Just 1 second. This is an expected call, so we'll see how this goes. Hello, Hope FM.
Oh, good evening. Is that Miss Raven?
Miss Raven is speaking, yes. Who may I ask is calling?
As instructed by your radio station controller, Miss Raven, this is PC Reg Unwin of Wessex Police Social Action Group phoning in as planned to discuss the recent increase of incidents on the beach.
I see. I'm really sorry. I completely forgot you were calling in, PC Unwin. I'm really sorry. I got very carried away with the music there. So you discuss some public safety announcements.
There's been a lot of goings on tonight, but this is all perfectly normal because it's Halloween. If you do get abducted or spoken to by a vampire or a creature of the Mary Shelley variety or a werewolf, or possibly somebody dressed up as the MP for Bournemouth South, Tory Marginal, then you need to be aware this is actually normal for this time of year. It's a joke thing. It's called Halloween.
Well, I think Tory Marginal might be the scariest of all of those.
I think I can't comment on that, miss. I don't do politics. I'm just a police officer.
Right, okay.
But obviously, today is Halloween, which means All Hallows Eve, because, of course, tomorrow is All Souls Day, All Saints Day, and obviously people are concerned that there is an All Saints Day, but there isn't a day for the Spice Girls. Right,
okay. So, All Saints Day, so do you have to get up in the morning, start singing I Know Where It's At and Never Ever, and walk around in cargo pants for the day? How does that work?
Well, you might do that, miss. That's entirely your own business.
We'll see.
You are over 18, aren't you? So you're allowed to do that. Another thing that we do need to discuss is the recent craze of looming. And one thing one thing we're particularly bothered about is underage looming. I've been asked to mention that what the law states. The law is quite clear on this. Only people 16 years of age and older are able to loom.
Okay.
And it has to be between 16 and 18 with the assistance and supervision of a responsible adult. Obviously, there's going to be issues when some people just suddenly turn 18, think they can go looming or supervise their friends looming, and this is open to all sorts of abuse. We need to think about that.
Fair enough.
If you are a young person out there, and I know lots of young people do listen to your radio show for all these banging tunes and to be down with the other kids in the hood, we do suggest at Wessex Police, we advise that you go to a supervised event. There are many beach parties that are organised. In particular, I believe you actually interviewed me when we were down at one. I was helping to supervise one organised by the Bronte sisters,
yes.
Miss Anne and her sisters and their friends. This is
name
all
dropper.
very well and good.
I didn't realise you were into name dropping, PC Unwin.
Well, one can understand that 19th century novelists do want to let their hair down as
yes.
much as anybody else. Obviously, novel writing is very, very difficult, very, very hard work.
Well, you neglected to mention that Jane Austen was there as well, with a controversial former Prime Minister as well. You're going to name drop it properly.
That's really none of my business. Miss Austen is over the age of 18. She's entitled to loom. And if she decides that she wishes to loom in the company of Mr. Pitt, Mr. William Pitt the Younger, then that is really their business, miss. I understand your welfare, you're concerned about their welfare, but at that age, they really are entitled to do what they like. And I'm not going to come on your radio programme as a warning and spread scurrilous gossip about one of our greatest Prime Ministers ever and one of our greatest novelists ever. In fact, a young lady who has her mugshot on the £5 note. This doesn't mean she's wanted by Wessex Police. Well, in the sense that, she's done a crime. Obviously we want her, but, she's, a local girl, but made good by the other local girl, made good, Miss Mary Shelley, or Mrs. Mary Shelley, I'm not quite sure what she calls herself
Mrs.
at the time, who's done a lot for the town's tourism. But we do need to make sure that people are aware of the local bylaws about looming. One of the things that did come up in your interview, if you remember, Miss Raven, when you did speak to me...
I do remember very well.
...discover that some people were actually dancing at some of these beach parties. I have checked, and it is not against local bylaws to be able to dance at a beach party. And there's no plans, I understand, from the council, which is currently being merged. I believe they're going to take all the councillors from Bournemouth, Poole and Christchurch, put them into a Star Trek-style transporter, and they'll all be merged and come out. But I understand they've got no plans to make it against the local bylaws for young people to dance together, obviously, even within a reasonably discreet distance. Obviously, Wessex Police were very concerned about young people dancing.
I'm sure you are.
It leads to sort of holding hands and all that sort of thing. And, one never knows where it will end.
No, indeed, PC Unwin, indeed.
I was young myself once. This is how I met Mrs. Unwin, and one thing led to another, and, obviously, we ended up getting married.
And you ended up dancing.
Well, it's not against the law, Miss Raven. It's not against the law, but it needs to be treated responsibly, as indeed does Looming.
So like adverts for alcohol, where it says "drink responsibly" at the bottom of the advert. So
I think
dance responsibly.
If they want to loom and they are legally allowed to loom, they need to make sure they loom responsibly. Yes, loom responsibly. And when the fun stops, stop. Is another message that we would say.
Our interview just came screaming back to me. I remember it well.
Well, I'm glad you did. I understand it's also available online.
Yes.
We have checked. It's legal, but people of a nervous disposition might be slightly shocked at some of the material on there. Also, another thing that I've been asked to mention by our medical department is the problems emergency services have with young people going to these beach parties, like Miss Bonce's beach party, which is a well-regulated beach party, and young people there are perfectly safe. I know, because I patrolled up and down the beach to make sure they are, is that it's actually getting colder. You may have noticed it's getting darker at one end of the day and also darker at the other end of the day. There is nothing to be alarmed about this. This is perfectly natural. In a few months' time, we actually start getting lighter at both ends of the day as well for a while.
Yes.
So there's nothing to worry about. But
good to know.
It does mean this extended period of darkness, technically known as winter by astronomers, can actually cause a great deal of cold. And one of the things we say, if you are going to a beach party, is to wrap up warm. Hats, scarves, thick coats, gloves, and obviously, if you're going to dance, this will sort of slow you down a bit, but it will keep you warm while you're doing it. So, keep your beach parties safe, and make sure that everything is sorted. Also, we also recommend for your safety at your beach party that you take a torch. This should be an electric battery torch or a wind-up electric torch, and not a flaming torch. If you start carrying around flaming torches and pitchforks, you will be mistaken by some of our officers for people from Christchurch. And we are most keen that this doesn't happen, and you don't get young people arrested just for trying to have a little bit of fun and people mistaking them for enraged bourgeoisie out to smash the system that they regard as oppressing them.
Well, you wouldn't want to make that mistake, would you?
Well, we certainly wouldn't, because it creates all sorts of problems for us here at Wessex Police, where people feel that they are being repressed by the system, by international capitalism, or in some cases, indeed, international socialism. People are very funny about this. They take exception to most forms of international economic system.
Well, PC Unwin, fantastic advice there for anyone planning to go to a winter beach party, to wrap up warm and dance responsibly.
And take a torch, an electric torch.
Take a torch,
and,
yes.
barbecues, please make sure you extinguish your barbecues by putting sand on them after you've cooked your food, obviously.
Of course, yeah. But beforehand would be kind of pointless. Would you like a sand hot dog or pebble burger by any chance?
You don't want to get sand in your sandwich.
Hey.
That's a bit of
I see what you did there. That was cutting edge humour.
We have down the station, yes.
Yes.
And the other thing I would say is that in this day and age, as we near Brexit and leaving the European Union, be very aware at your beach party for ships offshore that could be smugglers.
Okay. Well, that's definitely something to look out for. I mean,
we've not had a problem in this area of smuggling for about 200 years. However, we are worried it could be coming back.
Yeah, a lot of other things from 200 years ago are coming back, aren't they?
Coming ashore in the middle of the night, smuggling barrels of brandy in from France and all this sort of thing.
Yes.
And of course, going the other way, smuggling people out who won't be allowed to leave after the 29th of March next year. And there'll be a heavy fine if you do try and leave the United Kingdom.
Yes. I'm sure the wall will be going up any day.
Well, we luckily we've got water around us, but the government policy is no free movement. That means you can't escape. So this is why this bordering island is so contentious, because how they're going to stop people escaping and getting out.
Fair enough. Well, you'd also have a nation of really good swimmers.
It's going to be very, very difficult to stop people actually escaping.
Yeah.
Some people will actually be considering doing that, and it's bang out of order. And it shouldn't be allowed. So
well,
thank you for your time. If you could pass that on to your viewers.
Yeah. Well, you're on air, so that went out to all of our listeners.
Oh, good. I'm on air. Well, can I just say hello to Mrs. Unwin if she's listening? She might not be. She might be watching Emmerdale. She loves science fiction. So good, Emmerdale.
Emmerdale is very good science fiction, isn't it? Aliens and time travel and
indeed,
all those surgically enhanced faces.
It is a utopian vision of Yorkshire in the future where everybody has indoor toilets.
Right.
It's
yes.
A utopian vision of the future, and maybe they are entitled to a little bit of hope up there. Get the partners, a little bit of hope up there.
That my dear, is absolutely. Well, I said earlier we were looking for stand-up comedians on the show. With those jokes, you could totally, you could send in some material.
Yes, well, there are some very serious issues we do have to look at in Wessex. Sheep rustling, for example. Some of these sheep are not oiled properly, and they rustle in the night and keep people awake. That's one of the issues. And of course, there are.
It took me a while.
It's not a laughing matter, Miss Raven. There are a number of problems when people like no names, but some of the Wessex novelists get together and they are on the border with some of the Hampshire novelists, and it can turn nasty sometimes when they do their novel slams. You know how poets get together and they do their poetry slams and
novel slamming is quite a messy business. I'm really sorry to have to interrupt you there, PC Unwin, but it's almost time for us to send out some messages.
I think I'd better go. I'm going to go back and patrol for unauthorised beach parties that haven't been cleared. So, one day you go.
I hear there's a rave happening down by Boscombe Pier, so I'd get down there. Lots of vampires on the loose.
We'll go and have a look and
have a look.
Youngsters in the right direction.
Yes. Well,
good night, Miss.
Good night.
There you go.
Bye.